Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, we see the Commander live up to his name as we review the final issue of Skybound's Cobra Commander miniseries. And we've got tidbits on Transformers Reactivate, EarthSpark Season 2, and Transformers 1. Today is Friday, May 31st, and this is episode 392 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that also commands its army through fear and hate. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team, which tonight is Dr. Vance.
Is it really love and hate? Because I've always felt like this place is a place of love and peace.
No, it's fear and hate. It's always been fear and hate.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Let's talk Transformers.
Again, we're missing Daryl and Jeremy this week. But
was it the fear and hate? Were they too afraid to come on the show?
Might have been. We might need to rethink that love and peace thing you were talking about, Scott. So we'll definitely take that into consideration.
Okay, good. I mean, listen, don't let me tell you how to do things around here. It's been 10 years, and you guys have way more followers and subscribers than I do. So, by all means, maybe I should learn from you. Maybe the fear and hate thing's the way to go.
Well, we'll see. I don't know if the Donatrons fear and hate us, or maybe they do love us, but for some reason, they're still giving us money. Thank you all to our Donatrons who support us. We did not threaten them to force them to give us money, so not sure how that happened. But if you would like to support the podcast, you can go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up. To all our donations, we really appreciate your support. Thank you for helping us keep the show going and helping us do this week after week for 10 years. Unbroken streak. And of course, as a Donatron, we give you some perks. That includes bonus content, like We Like Big Bots, the bonus show done by Dr. Pants and Daryl. They've got lots of big bots, and they show them off in those episodes. So, we've got 12 right now up for your viewing pleasure on our Patreon page, and we've got 2 more waiting in the wings for Daryl to get some time to edit them. Direct your complaints to Daryl at transmissionspodcast.com.
Please, everyone, come look at Daryl and I's big bots. We love to show off our big bots.
Yes. Bots.
Not to be confused with a piece of the anatomy. That ain't gonna happen here. Well, depends. How much are you willing to donate, guys? We can start another series.
No, now we're getting into the threats. You donate enough so that we don't show our butts. All right. Of course, we also have our bonus show from our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. This week was the bonus uncut version for episode 116, a Yukaran Tale. That's available right now for all our Donatrons. And the regular version will be out next Monday, June 3rd at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. So all our regular subscribers to Empire of Rust will get the next episode then. But of course, if you're a Donatron, that's a perk. One of the perks, you get to listen to the full show early with everything left in. So, hey,
and if
pays
you're
to
not
be a member.
And if you're not listening to Empire of Rust, why not? You should. Season 3 just started. It's not that far, and it's a good jumping on point. Please listen to it. It's really, really good. I have no stake in it. I'm not a part of it. I just think it's really good, and I like to promote it.
Awesome. Yes. I also love Empire of Rust. I am basically the first listener every week because I listen to the episode before I put it up. So really enjoying it. So
lucky. I mean, they did technically kill off my favorite character, though, so I'm a little upset, but spoiler for season 2, I guess. Yeah.
Sometimes, bad guys got to die.
It wasn't a bad guy.
Oh.
I was the only fan this character had, and I am sad.
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about now.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Well, sometimes player characters can only play one character.
Yeah, I'm aware still. Oh, well.
All right. Next up, we've got our exclusive Transformers #1 comic from Skybound. We sponsored and commissioned our own cover. This is with artwork by EJ Sue, doing an awesome render of Starscream there. You can pick these exclusive covers up only at transmissionspodcast.com/comic. And, we will ship that right out to you. Thank you to all the folks who recently ordered after seeing it promoted on Thu's Open Damn It web show. So, that was really, we really appreciated that. Of course, appreciate Daryl for sending it to Thu and getting the ball rolling there. So, good job all around. And lastly, of course, we've still got our code for toyhacks.com. This is the last day to use it. This is the code for May, Matrix, Maytrix. You can use that code at toyhacks.com for 15% off all your orders. This is the last day for May. It's May 31st. So tomorrow this code will not be active anymore. Make sure you use it now. We will have a new code for June. We just don't have it yet. So tune in next week to get the June code for toyhacks.com. And we'll keep it going. Of course, as always, this code cannot be combined with any other promo codes, but it can be used with your robo points at toyhacks.com. So help out our friends at toyhacks.com and help us out by using that code, Matrix. Okay, that's all our opening promos. Let's get into the show with our review. All right, this week we are reviewing Cobra Commander #5. This is the final issue of the Cobra Commander miniseries. We will get into the rise of Cobra Commander. And we'll talk about it. Dr. Pants has caught up now, so maybe we'll discuss the entire series at the end. Our overall impression of the whole Cobra Commander miniseries. So let's get into the comic. This is a full spoiler review, so we're going to talk about the whole issue, everything that happened in the issue. So, if you haven't read it yet, you've had 2 weeks at this point, so you need to either go read it, stop this podcast now and go read it, or you can, spoil yourself and keep listening. So it's up to you. We're fine either way, but we did want to give you that warning. All right. Cobra Commander #5, written by Joshua Williamson, artist Andrea Milana, colorist Annalisa Leone, letterer Russ Wooten, editor Sean Makowitz, logo and publication design Andre Suarez, and production Jillian Crabb. So we are going to go through a full summary of the issue, then we'll talk about it. At Mars headquarters, its CEO, Destro, is highly upset. Mars facilities around the world have been attacked and raided in the last 48 hours. He has no idea who is responsible, but his Lieutenant Mercer has an update. He's heard rumors of a new player recruiting mercenaries with the promise of more than money, which vexes Destro even further. But Mercer has good news. They didn't steal anything in the last attack, and they left one of their men behind to send a message. It's the Dreadnought Ripper. Mercer wants to kill the messenger, but Ripper begs them not to. He's been a victim in all this too. Destro recognizes the Dreadnought since they've trafficked weapons for him before. Ripper has a paper note with coordinates on it to give him and a message from his new boss. We should meet. Destro knows this invitation is probably also a trap and readies a strike team to fly with him and Mercer in a helicopter. They land in what looks like a normal American suburb, but there are no people around. Destro's team spreads out to patrol the area while Destro and Mercer looks around. They ask Ripper what's going on, but he's just scared out of his mind. He tells Destro that his new master is crazy and sick. But Destro is not intimidated. Until hidden laser blasters pop out of the nearby lawns and blast every one of Destro's mercenaries in the head. Destro decides discretion is the better part of valor and tries to escape to the helicopter, but it's blown to bits. Only Destro, Mercer, and Ripper are left alive. And then Cobra Commander appears in his trench coat and hat to greet them. Destro is not amused and orders Mercer to attack. Mercer grabs Cobra Commander by the neck and lifts him off his feet. Cobra Commander tells him they've all got guns aimed at their heads, so they should think twice about killing him. Destro orders Mercer to let him go, and Cobra Commander gets down to business. He tells Destro that he has an offer for him since he's the top arms dealer in the world. Cobra Commander gives them the tour of his secret facility. He introduces the scientist, Laszlo Vandermeer, who he rescued from the Dreadnoks and then forced to continue helping develop refined energon. The scientist greets everyone but whispers to Mercer, begging him to kill him. But Mercer ignores his plea. Cobra Commander continues to show Destro how much progress he's made with the weapons and technology he stole from Mars. He started to build an empire disguised in this small town. Even the battle android troopers that Destro developed have been improved with the new energon power source he's cultivated. Destro asks what kind of power source he has, and Cobra Commander simply answers, mine. Cobra Commander then gives them a demonstration. He assembles a group of his mercenaries in a field. One bat is able to slaughter them instantly. Destro asks why he would kill his own men, and Cobra Commander answers there's always more where they came from. They're essentially expendable. So now Cobra Commander gets to the offer. He needs an army and all of Mars at his disposal. In exchange, he'll provide the energon and technology to make Destro's weapons second to none. Destro considers a moment and agrees to the alliance. Then a bat arrives with a cape and helmet, which Cobra Commander changes into. Destro asks who exactly is he? Cobra Commander just says, the future. He then turns to Ripper and says he's free to go, but Ripper refuses. He says he knows the moment he turns, he'll just be shot in the back. So he'll just stay. Cobra Commander is amused that Ripper has more brains than he thought. Finally, Cobra Commander tells him he has one more thing to show him, his secret weapon. They go into the main hall in the center of town, and it's filled with a group of mercenaries. Mercer is not sure about working with this guy, who is clearly unhinged, and whispers to Destro. Destro reminds him that Duke said something about a giant robot that turns into a jet. This guy's technology and energy source must be linked to that. They'll play along for now since they need this new power source, but they won't let their guard down. Meanwhile, Cobra Commander addresses the crowd. He tells them that he knows they all came here to find a purpose, and he's giving it to them. Together, they will create a new world. Together, we are Cobra. Back in Cobra La, Globulus seethes at the betrayal of the Cobra Commander. The robot they had captive, Megatron, woke up and escaped, nearly destroying Cobra La in the process. Pythona agrees that it was a mistake to let the outsider into Cobra La. Also, Nemesis Enforcer hasn't checked in many days. He must have failed in his mission to kill the commander once they found the energon. Then Globulus finds Cobra Commander's full research files. He learned much more about the robot than he told them. It comes from a war-torn planet in space made entirely of metal, which is a blasphemy to everything Cobra La and its organic-based civilization stands for. Now they are on Earth and will bring about their destruction if they don't stop them. Globulus intends to send another agent out into the world to hunt down Cobra Commander and bring him back to Cobra La so he can kill him himself. And Pythona declares she will explore the source of the metal invaders. They ready an organic spacecraft to send Pythona into the stars to find their home planet. She will uncover the history and weaknesses of the robots and find out how to destroy them for Cobra La. And that is the end of the Cobra Commander miniseries. Not the end of the G.I. Joe storyline, I'm sure. But that is the end of this chapter. I believe this will probably continue directly in the Destro miniseries that's continuing next month. So I'm not sure when the first issue of that goes on sale, but probably will be in a couple weeks. So that is how the Cobra Commander miniseries ended. I think this was a very much a, like, here's the Cobra setup, like the formation of Cobra. It's all here. Although it does feel a bit like this is kind of just a one shot. It doesn't really feel like a conclusion to this miniseries, just because like it didn't really tie back to the first 4 issues. The first 4 issues are kind of one complete story. And then this one is really a bit of an epilogue, just to show like how it ties in. It also is kind of an epilogue for the Duke miniseries because it ties in directly from the end of Duke, with Destro being revealed at the end of Duke. So I think it's fine. It just felt like this is more like Cobra issue 0, rather than like the final issue of the Cobra Commander miniseries, which, I mean, I think that's fair. It's what people were expecting, as to how Cobra Commander went from where he started to forming Cobra. So and that gives you this. I do like how he's portrayed as very he's very callous with life. He's very, he's willing to kill anybody just to make a point, which that's particularly dangerous when it's dangerous for your enemies and also dangerous as an ally. Like, you don't want to know that the guy you're working for will basically kill you for a demonstration. That's a little concerning if I'm, want to join up with Cobra. But I still thought it was interesting. Since I'm not the G.I. Joe expert, I don't know if there are any major references. I did spot like the twins Zaymot and Tomax in a view screen. I think there's also a Storm Shadow in one of the view screens there. I don't know who this scientist is, this Vandermeer guy. I don't know if that's a oh, he is. Yeah, I'm looking at the TF wiki. That's a character from the Mass Device episodes of the original G.I. Joe cartoon. So that's where he comes from. But yeah, and I think the town is probably the town is not named in the story, but it is probably the town of Springfield, which I believe is was a big town in the G.I. Joe, both the G.I. Joe comic and cartoon. Like Cobra had taken over this town and used it as a front to hide like all the nefarious stuff they were doing. So it seems likely that this is also Springfield. But it's fine. I mean, yeah, I'm not super excited about Cobra and G.I. Joe. I'm still enjoying them for the most part, but I'm more interested in how it's going to tie in with the Transformers stuff, to be honest. Not really super interested in continuing the G.I. Joe storylines, but we'll see. I mean, Daryl will be happy to hear that I'm debating whether or not we should continue these reviews with Scarlet and Destro that are starting next month. So we'll see. I mean, maybe they can talk about it next week if they're interested in doing that. I don't think either of those comics are out for a little while. So Daryl, I'll throw it over to you. What were your thoughts on this last issue, and maybe you could give your overall impression of the miniseries?
Did you just call me Daryl?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Dr.
no.
Pants. Dr. Pants. I'll move over to you. What did you think? Not Dale. Dr. Pants.
I had mentioned it to you before that I don't mind reading these. I do enjoy them, but I'm not so much into it that I would go out and buy this comic. But I'm in the same place as you. I'm not a G.I. Joe expert. Did I watch the cartoon as a kid? Yeah, I had some of the toys and stuff, but like, I don't know a lot of G.I. Joe aside from the main characters. And I don't know what references are in this book that I'm missing. I remember when we did the last issue that I reviewed with you guys that showed off the Nemesis Enforcer, like a lot of people were like, oh yeah, Nemesis Enforcer. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. I enjoyed the issue. I kind of like the story of Cobra Commander, where he came from and how he became like the leader of Cobra. So reading through the whole thing was really cool. And this issue, like, yeah, it was an epilogue, but it was nice to see him actually be like standing in front of the Cobra flag and be like, we are Cobra. And we kind of got that resolution of him being officially Cobra Commander. I was a little weird with the line at first when he says, oh yeah, there's plenty more where that came from. And it's great to use fear and hate to motivate people. And I was like, is it? And then they did the right thing and they had Ripper be like, I know what you do. I'm going to stay. And I'm like, good. They actually showed an example of it working. And it's like, okay, yeah. That's what I like. Very gory and bloody at times, which is just, that's been the surprising part of this Energon universe thing. I'll tell you what I'm most interested in though, and that is the Cobra Law story in this and what's going to happen with, is it Pythona? Mm-hmm. Yeah, with her going out into space, and I'm wondering, is that going to come back to the Transformers, or is it going to show up in Void Rivals and play into that? And I'm a little curious. I'm way more interested in the Cobra Law stuff in general, just because I don't know, the whole like weirdly advanced secret society living on Earth that worships like all things organic and hates anything inorganic. I don't know. I think that's really fascinating and cool. I know. I think from the G.I. Joe stuff that most people don't like the Cobra Law thing, and it had a negative impact on the show. But personally, I think it's really cool, and I kind of want to see what they do with it in the comics. I did catch one reference, and that was the Cobra Commander like going around in the trench coat and hat. Isn't that a reference to like the character from Transformers who wasn't Cobra Commander, but we all know was Cobra Commander?
Old Snake. Yep. Yeah, that was... That was we mentioned that in the first issue because he shows up in that outfit in the first issue. So yeah. So I picked that up. It's also really cool that they tied in the Transformers stuff into the birth of Cobra, but it's not reliant on the Transformers. They basically said we don't need Energon to keep going because we now know how to divvy it up and keep using it without having to keep getting it. So. It's kind of nice that it's been its own thing, but it was started by the Transformers, so that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I don't know what else to say about it. I like the art. I liked what they did with the story overall. I'm probably not going to keep up with it because, again, I'm not a G.I. Joe fan, and I just don't care enough about the characters. But it's been fun to read. And if you're a G.I. Joe fan or you're like curious about G.I. Joe, I don't think reading Cobra Commander and Duke is a bad idea because they were fun books and they were well written, well illustrated, and it might give you the fix you're looking for. Yeah.
But that's all I got.
Yeah, it's I think that's pretty fair. But yeah, I hope these are satisfying the G.I. Joe fans and that they're enjoying it. So
do we have any idea how well these are selling? Because I know that the Transformers books are selling really well.
I don't. I didn't look up any and didn't like I hadn't heard any like record breaking number news stories, and I didn't dig into to see if there was any numbers for these things, but I imagine they must be selling relatively well if they're getting. Some of them are getting reprints, so.
Okay.
Whatever that. I mean, it's always like it. I don't know if that means it's selling out at the retailer level or actually selling through to customers. So that's,
I don't know. I know my comic book shop, when I go in and I get Transformers, they talk about how they're getting like the second and third printings on issues because it is selling out like crazy. But I haven't asked about the G.I. Joe books. I might have to because I'm just curious. I'm curious to know if these are doing that well. Because like I said, there's nothing wrong with them. I think they're good books. It's just it's not something I'm interested in at all. And
Right.
I get the feeling that I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of backlash from anyone in the podcast too much about not doing more G.I. Joe books. Unless they do go back to the Transformers thing, then maybe. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so we have seen like a preview of Scarlet that was in like that. I think that was in the back of a couple of recent Skybound books. That seems totally divorced from any Transformers references, really. So
I think they just used it to get the ball rolling. Because we know that like Duke's motivations for what he was doing was all tied into like that appearance of Starscream, and Cobra Commander was all tied to the Energon. I think they just did it to get the ball rolling, and they'll probably keep. Honestly, I would like to keep it divorced from it because I hate when comics rely so much on like the interconnectivity of I have to read 5 books to know what's going on in each one. And it'd be nice if you could just read like a G.I. Joe book and it's just G.I. Joe. Yeah, it's cool that the start came the way it did and like the whole Energon universe kind of started with Transformers, but let's keep it separate until we do our big crossover event. Because it'll happen.
Yeah, I'm wondering when they're gonna like we're hoping that these Joe books are going to coalesce into like just a G.I. Joe ongoing series. So maybe when Scarlet and Destro finish up, that they will lead into like a G.I. Joe #1, and then we'll just go forward from there. But
yeah, well, like you were saying, it's also very similar to IDW doing the Transformers books, like their first IDW run where it was Infiltration, Stormfront,
Stormbringer,
not Stormfront.
Stormfront's the Nazi website. You don't want to go there.
Oh, I actually know it because it's a book I like.
Oh,
it's a fantasy book. I did not know that. Wow. Okay. Stormbringer. Sorry, and I don't actually. It was Infiltration, Stormbringer,
Escalation, Devastation.
Yep.
Revelation.
There we go. And then of course we went into like Transformers #1 after that. So maybe that's what they're doing here, and they're just getting everything set up beforehand. And I don't think it's a bad thing with the Joe books.
And we had All Hail Megatron before we even got to Transformers #1 after the Asian stuff. So
that's true. That's true. So
it took them a long time to get to Transformers #1. It was like years and years. So
and I do like though that they're not also bombarding the market with a billion Joe books all at the same time. Like it's been 2. There's just 2, and they're kind of like they're not on the same week or anything. It's like read one, then read the other, and that's kind of nice. So I think they're doing it right, but we'll just have to wait and see. But again, at this point, give me the crossover. That's when I'll read it. But for right now, I'm okay. Yep.
All right. Well, that's our review of Cobra Commander #5, and. Daryl, you're lucky you escaped again. You escaped having to deal with a Joe book this week. So.
He plans it. He has to go to his work and be like, I have to be away this Sunday. I cannot do this anymore.
So, good job, Daryl. But maybe Jeremy I know Jeremy is still interested in these books, so he might want to talk about it next week. So maybe he'll force Daryl to talk about it next week. I'm not going to be here next week, so it's up to them. All right, let's move on. We've got some media news to talk about, so let's jump in.
All right, first up, we have some information on Transformers Reactivate or Transformers Rise. The opening cutscene was apparently leaked.
My name is Optimus Prime.
So we have that here, and I'm interested. I want to know more. I'm actually... My only issue with the cutscene is it's a cutscene. I see nothing in gameplay. I have no idea what's going to happen in this. But we got to see that along with some concept art and images. So it's looking good, and it's really nice to see this kind of stuff come up because, in all honesty, we had the Transformers Reactivate figures come out and then nothing about the game for so long that it was like, is this still a thing? Are we still getting it? It looks like the Autobots and Decepticons will be joining up against Legion, a alien race that are set up as basically like hordes of nanomachines and whatnot. And it sounds like if you watch the cutscene, basically the Transformers all went offline because of an EMP blast. 70 years went by, and they're trying to reactivate the Transformers, which is where Reactivate came from. But now they're calling it Transformers Rise because they will rise.
Well, I think they are. It was originally Rise. Now it's Reactivate. So, since this cutscene was developed in 2020, so this is actually a leak. This is not an official trailer release. This is a leaked cutscene.
I do see this as 2020. Well, then Reactivate actually is better, and I like that. So that works. But I mean, this is cool, and I hope they're still doing more with this. We did get news that Transformers Reactivate has been pushed officially to 2025, so we will not be seeing it anytime this year. But hopefully, it doesn't get pushed anymore, and next year we will eventually see it because we haven't had a really good Transformers game in a long time, and I'm jonesing. I'm itching for some of that. But
yeah. I mean, and also this, the cutscene, the voice narration is narrated by Optimus Prime. I believe that's, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that's John Bailey doing his Peter Cullen impression. He's had opportunity to do a lot of official Transformers voiceover work, and he's also a big fan in the fandom. So, it's cool to hear him again. I don't know how much of this is actually going to make it into the actual game. This might have been just kind of a placeholder, but we'll see. But this does give us a little bit more kind of backstory. I believe they did, like when they announced it last year, the press release did say the enemy was going to be the Quintesson. So I think they migrated these legions of the hordes of monsters are probably like Quintesson minions or whatever. So
I mean,
we'll see.
That's fine. It's fine if they do Quintessons. I wouldn't have minded if it was an original enemy where they had to band together, but the Quintessons work too. So
yeah,
it's fine. It's fine. But we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I'm itching for a new Transformers game that's really good. I'm sure we all are. What's the last good one we got? Devastation?
Yeah.
Oof.
It's been a while.
Yeah, guess it has. After that, we have some information on EarthSpark. There was a Season 2 teaser trailer.
To roll out, we have an important mission.
Which, I mean,
the Ember Stone.
If you've been a fan of EarthSpark, there's a lot to love in here. We got some cool robot designs, a lot of the favorite characters coming back, doing their thing. Starscream being a dick. I mean, what more could you ask for from a Starscream, from a Transformers show? But I liked EarthSpark Season 1, and I'm kind of looking forward to Season 2. But unfortunately, there's rumors going around that EarthSpark is to be canceled after Season 2 and replaced with a new Transformer series. And I thought they had some really good writing in here. I thought they did a really good job. It was more original than we've been getting with a lot of Transformer stuff, because it wasn't just Autobots and Decepticons, years-long war. Like, it was after the war. We had some cool new characters with the Terrans and everything. And there were a lot of really cool original designs. I liked it a lot. And they referenced a lot of cool stuff, like bringing Tarantulas in, and it was Swindle's brother in the beginning. Was it Hardtop or something?
Yeah, Hardtop, I believe.
Which was a Cybertron character, which was really cool.
That was the one that Mandroid cut his arm off and grafted it onto his own arm. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot that was really cool, and I don't know why they're canceling it so early if viewership has gone down, but I know it's like a Paramount Plus show, and maybe the streams weren't that great. Who knows? I saw a lot of people talk about that's like, oh, that's how kids shows go. They only get 2 seasons. It's like, didn't every other Transformer series pretty much go for at least like 3? Mm-hmm. And it's like this one.
Also, this is still an unsubstantiated rumor, so we don't really know how true this is. I mean, and we're just at the start of Season 2, so I mean, of course, these decisions are probably made months to years in advance. So this probably would be about the time that they'd make a decision to cancel it if they were going to. But they probably won't officially announce that until the after season 2 is over, if that's what they're going to do.
My only hope is that if it is canceled after season 2, I'm hoping they at least gave the writers and everyone working on the show enough heads up about it that maybe there's at least an ending. Because I'd hate the series just end and there not be any kind of true ending to it whatsoever. But we'll wait and see. Again, I know EarthSpark's been doing pretty well on online. I see a lot of people talk about it and mostly in positive light. My only complaint about EarthSpark is I wish the toys were better. But that's nitpicky. That's nitpicky.
I still got to catch up. I'm only, I think, about halfway through season 1, so I got to finish that up and get back into it.
I still have a little bit to go in season 1 also, but this is, I think, season 2. It says it premieres on June 7th. So if you're listening to this, you got about a week. Get caught up on EarthSpark. And then watch season 2, and watch it and enjoy it. It's a fun show. Like I said, it's got really great writing. It's a lot of fun. And then on to the next thing, because we've done video games, we've done TV shows. Let's talk about movies and books. Remember when movies got novelizations? Well, apparently Transformers remembers. Because Transformers 1, the CG animated movie we're getting this year, is getting an official novelization. Maybe they still do this. I don't know. I haven't looked at this kind of stuff in a while, but yeah, no, we're getting a novelization of the movie, which, cool. And also there's a couple of other books coming out alongside of that are a little bit more suited for younger people. You have the Ready to Read book, and I believe there's also another one for even younger. Or it's a sticker book. It's a sticker book. Destined for
more
greatness.
than 15 stickers.
That's great, because if it was less than 15 stickers, they'd be on the business end of a hissy fit from me.
Look at that smile from Megatron. He's just a happy-go-lucky bot. He's your friend. He's your best friend, hanging out with Orion Pax there. They're such good friends.
At no point is he going to become a genocidal tyrant. But that's cool. I'm sorry, just the novelization of a movie like that is just so weird. I remember from the 90s, and I just thought they didn't do that anymore. And the fact that this is getting a novelization.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have not heard of movies getting novelizations very frequently at all in the last 20 years. So this is definitely odd.
And also, we don't get a whole lot of Transformers novels. I know they did with the Aligned continuity back when Prime was a thing. What was it? There was a trilogy of books, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, and before that, during the Dreamwave era, there were a few books that came out. There was a terrible trilogy of books that came out that was set in the Dreamwave continuity, and they were really bad. Like, if you want to talk about gratuitous violence and gore for the sake of nothing, those books had it all. I mean, I was not prepared for a Transformers book that was regularly eviscerating and murdering humans over in the book.
Oh my God.
Repeatedly. There was one particular passage I was reading. So the book, the story centers around these weird aliens come to Earth, and they're so powerful they can immobilize the Transformers. It's kind of like the Secret Wars, the Beyonder coming and taking all the heroes and making them fight each other. These aliens did the same thing. They captured a bunch of humans and Autobots and Decepticons and had them in this weird arena and had them fight monsters and things. And so it was the Autobots are there, but then there's just a bunch of humans, random innocent bystander humans. They're all there, and the aliens are repeatedly murdering these humans while the Autobots can't do anything to stop them. And one particular passage, there's a woman, like, she's about to be murdered. She's like, please, I have a family, don't kill me. And then she's like murdered. And right. It's like, I mean, if it was made into a movie or a comic book, it would be, parents would be outraged. But since it was a book and it's just all in your imagination, you know, you're just reading words on a page, they got away with this. But it was very, very, like, beyond what I would ever think would be an official Transformers story. So avoid these books at all costs is what I'm saying.
But don't avoid the novelization of Transformers 1. Or do. We don't know how good or bad it's going to be yet. But I'm surprised they're doing it. And on that note, though, with Transformers 1, we also have a rumor that Brian Tyler is going to be the one scoring the movie, which for Transformers fans, Brian Tyler was also known for scoring Transformers Prime, which did have quite the epic soundtrack to it. Very, very grandiose, very orchestral, and just really, really well done. He also worked on the Super Mario Brothers movie, Iron Man 3, Fast 5, and Avengers Age of Ultron, along with a bunch of other stuff. So he's got the pedigree behind him. If this rumor is true, I mean, he's got some Transformers work behind him, and honestly, that's what I like to hear. People who've worked with Transformers before kind of getting in on this stuff to kind of help give it the feel of Transformers. Even if it's something new, like give us something that makes us go, oh yeah, okay. This is what Transformers is.
Yeah, that's cool. Hopefully this rumor is true.
I hope Transformers 1 is good. That's all I really hope in the end.
Me too.
I think a lot of us hope that.
I was intrigued by the trailer. I thought the trailer did a good job of showing off things that looked interesting. I could have done without the Rolling Stones soundtrack, but I mean, it's a trailer. It's fine.
I just hope that I'm hoping that's not in the movie itself, because that is like a thing that happens in so many movies now that I'm done with. Mm-hmm. Like, not everything has to do that Guardians of the Galaxy thing and be classic rock.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and it's particularly out of place here, where the Transformers have no connection to humans and Earth and human music, so it'd be a little bit out of place. But
well, I mean, how many normal people who go see this movie are going to be thinking about that, though?
Yeah, I mean, but that just have a score. Just have a score. Like, we got Brian Tyler. Just have a musical score. You don't need a rockin' soundtrack, right?
Nope. Every movie needs a rockin' soundtrack. You need some famous director that everyone's heard of, and you need Chris Pratt. That's what all these movies need, apparently.
Oh man.
I
didn't know Chris Pratt was doing the Garfield movie.
You
He's
didn't?
the voice of Garfield. No. But I saw the commercial for it. I was like, hey, that's Chris Pratt.
Yeah, because Chris Pratt can't voice act. He's just Chris Pratt. If they had said Chris Pratt was in Transformers 1, I would have boycotted the freaking movie. But at least they got people in there who can actually voice act a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually very surprised by Chris Hemsworth. He sounds nothing like regular Chris Hemsworth voice. So it sounds like he's really got got some range there with his voice acting. So
yeah, and Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee kind of works for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, he still sounds like Keegan-Michael Key a lot, but it kind of works. Scarlett Johansson is Lita 1. I think it works. I think her voice works for that. And I can never remember the name of the guy playing Megatron.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Thank you. Yeah, I am terrible with names and just could not remember him. I don't know if I recognize him from other things, though.
He's been in those Godzilla movies, the Godzilla versus Kong movies. He's the podcast, the crazy podcast guy in those Godzilla versus Kong movies.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now. Okay. I mean, he sounds pretty good as Megatron too. So this movie's got some hope. Plus, it looks good. It looks good. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see. All right. Well, I think that's all our media news for this week. And that takes us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. So we gave you a review of Cobra Commander number 5 and a little bit of updates on all the Transformers media. If you want us to continue looking at G.I. Joe comics from Skybound, got to write in. Send in those comments. Put comments on YouTube. Send us emails at feedback@transmissionspodcast.com, or just go to transmissionspodcast.com/feedback. You can leave voicemails there.
Also, make sure to
let us know what you're thinking.
Specifically tag Daryl, Cybertronian Beast, and all those, so he can see how much people want to hear about the G.I. Joe books.
Yep.
So, we can just make him angry.
You can even send emails directly to Daryl at transmissionspodcast.com, and we'll dump them right in his lap. So, all right, everyone. That's it for this week. Dr. Pants, again, thank you for joining me, helping me keep the show going since my fellow founding members of the podcast decided not to show up.
Fear and hate work on some of us.
Well, I gave you a thank you at the end. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I came on a little strong at the beginning, but I still gave you a thank you at the end. I hope that evens things out.
Oh, well, you know it. There's no fear and hate here. I love being here. And this is amazing.
Yeah, and we love having you. So why don't you tell everyone where, of course, they can find all your other stuff online, and let's give you the plugs that you so richly deserve.
Thank you. If you listen to this podcast where I'm on here and you think, man, I need more of Dr. Pants in my life, then you should check out my Linktree/Nostradamus, where you can find links to me and my friends doing all of our stupid stuff that is just so much fun. We're primarily on YouTube, but we are on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We do TikToks. That's right. We're hip. But please come check us out if you're into just nerdy, fun things. We talk about robots. We talk about video games. We talk about all that stuff, and we're just fun. That's what we just try to do.
All right. And what's also fun is our Masterpiece Donatrons. Those are the awesome guys who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon. And that's why we give them a mention in every episode, because they're just so darn awesome. So thank you once again to John 4X11 Good, Demon Tech 82, and Steve C. We really appreciate your support. Thank you for keeping it going. We hope you are getting your money's worth. So thank you for keeping it up. And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to all our episodes of Transmissions and Transmissions Alt Mode. We've got another show in the books. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.